Just because you know something well does not mean you should be teaching other people and speaking on stage and in front of other people about it. I host workshops to teach real estate investors how to leverage, because that's my niche. I help real estate investors get financing that they need to scale their portfolio. That's what my YouTube channel is about. That's what my marketing is about. It's for them, right? I had guys, oh, should I do YouTube video? Should I do webinar? Should I run paid meta ads? Should I do a webinar funnel? Should I cold call this? It's like, guys, they all work, but you have to stick to something and stop giving up after a week or a month or 6 months.
Today, I sit down with Ben Stef, who is a lender out of Chicago. He actually shares his strategy for taking his business from $500,000 annually to $250,000 in just 1 year. On this episode, he actually breaks down his strategy for his 5 pillars of marketing. So stay tuned for that. It's really important and powerful for agents to hear. Episodes like this would not be possible without sponsorship, and I have to give a special thank you to my friend Andy Bovender. He's the founder of the Bovender team out of the Carolinas. Listen, if you have a client, a friend, family member who's been thinking about making a move to or from the Carolinas, the Bovender team are the folks to call. They are experts in the area. That shared, if you want to hang out with Andy and other amazing past guests of this podcast, scroll down to the link below for the Inner Circle group. I just blanked on the name, but you can follow the link and get added to the wait list. We're about 50 members strong. I keep it very exclusive, and within those sessions, we talk about building businesses. We talk about how to scale, how to grow, generate leads, all the nuances of driving your business forward. And of course, we share a referral from time to time. So if you want to learn more about that, hit the link in the description below. And as always, I'm your host and referral partner out of San Francisco, Sean Kunkler. Your business went from making $50,000 a year to 250. Start me from there. What the heck were you doing?
So I started with no mentorship, no training. I got licensed to do lending and then got into the business like with a chicken with his head cut off. And I would hear advice from the guys that have been doing this since 1992 that treat it like it's 1992. And here I am, this young guy coming into the business with all these ideas, right? And at the time they were pretty stupid ideas, but I did have a few golden ideas that I never got to run with because I always worked for somebody that told me no, that said, no, that's not how we do things here. So historically, my jobs, I went from less and less bureaucratic companies, if that makes any sense, to eventually I started my own P&L, right? And so that way I could run with all my ideas. And that's basically what happened. Was I was making $50K a year. I didn't understand prospecting, marketing, sales, branding. But then once I understood that marketing, in my opinion, marketing is the most important thing. Honestly, the knowledge, the industry, all that stuff is going to come with transactions, with experience. And I knew that. But the problem was I need to build relationships and do really well at marketing. That's my opinion. I believe if you're a great marketer, you can generate business and income from anywhere. So once I figured that part out, I just did that and learned everything there is to know about branding, about video, about marketing, about content creation, about scale, all that stuff. And then just did that every single day. And then my income basically exploded, what felt like overnight.
That's amazing. I mean, I know you're in the lending space. This tends to cater a little bit more specifically to obviously the agent, but the interesting thing that I've talked about on this podcast before is we're marketing businesses that also sell real estate, and you're a marketing business that also 100%. Fulfills loans. And so I think it sounds like that was your paradigm shift.
Yeah. I used to, because they train you know the guidelines, know all the rules, know how to structure a file. Yeah, that's important. But if nobody, even sales, I spent thousands of dollars learning sales training, but you need leads. Like, how am I going to get better at sales if I don't have leads that I'm talking to?
Yeah, if you're not meeting people, if you're not making new friends, like no one, like nothing or no one's like you're literally dead in the water. You have to continuously connect with people and put your name out there. But I want to actually rewind really quick to something you said at the beginning. Have you ever heard that? It's a silly story about the daughter who wanted to make her grandma's pot roast. Have you ever heard
No.
the story? So the daughter goes to the mom, hey, how do you make grandma's pot roast? She's like, oh, it's easy. You take the pot roast, you cut off the ends, you season it, you put it in the pan, and you put it in the oven. And she's like, why do you cut off the ends? That doesn't make sense. And she's like, I don't know. That's how your grandmother taught me. So she goes to her grandmother and she's like, hey, grandma, mom told me to cut off the ends. Why do you cut off the ends? She's like, oh, sweetie, it's because my oven was too small to fit the whole thing. And so it was one of those, well, that's the way we've always done it. So it gets passed to the next generation, but no one ever reevaluates, hey, we're in current, like things have changed. The oven's now bigger. Why are we continuing to not or to do this thing the way we've always have been?
Right. Right. And it's like, I'm not opposed to cold calling FSBOs and calling expired listings. And like, you could still do those things. But I think now there's so many other ways to generate business. The problem is you can't focus. You can't. I have a book behind me, The One Thing, right, by Mr. Keller here, that I feel like is big in our industry. And once I read that book, I knew I was like, this is it. This is for me, that was like the Bible. Like I needed a lot of agents like you guys can't, like we can't focus, right? We hear, oh, webinar funnels, oh, open house, this one open house idea, oh, this one way to, and then you keep, it's like, stop. The way I built my business is marketing pillars. I know exactly where my leads are going to come from. I have 5 structured marketing pillars, like pillars to a table or to a house, right? And I run my business to where all of those things are always running, and I don't do anything outside those 5. I always run those 5. So I hear about cool ideas. I'm not doing those. I only do those 5. Yeah.
And I think that's brilliant. And I think if you get to the scale or the size to go outside of the 5, this is where agents usually muck it up, is they stop doing those 5 and then they start adding this other thing. It's like, no, keep those 5, like keep digging that well, it's working, and then add the 5 as a test, or add the 6th or whatever if that's responding and you have the resources, then go play with that. But if it's a distraction, don't even start it to begin with. Like, just focus on those 5. I'm curious, what are your 5?
Yeah, so for me, it's past clients, okay? So nurturing, keeping in touch with them. Number 2 is new and hot leads, okay? Number 3 is video marketing, video content. Number 4 is realtors. Obviously, in the lending business, we get a lot of referrals from you guys, right? So realtors. And then number 5 is in-person events and workshops, okay? So I host workshops to teach real estate investors how to leverage, because that's my niche. I help real estate investors get financing that they need to scale their portfolio. That's what my YouTube channel is about. That's what my marketing is about. It's for them, right? And so I teach sometimes agents, but I teach mainly investors in my area in Chicago on how to buy more real estate and leverage programs that they didn't even know existed, or that they think that because guaranteed rate can't do it, that you can't do it at all, whatever, right? Not to name drop, but the point I'm making is that like those events, and I actually invite like agents to those events. I say, hey, you can come speak. I know you're great at multifamily, Sean, right? You're a great multifamily agent. You focus on those. Come to my event. We're gonna have a multifamily piece. I want you to talk about how to vet tenants and how to like vet the deal or whatever, right? And so I'll do that too. So my events, I do them once a quarter, typically. Once a quarter, every 3 months, we do a big event. We'll get about 30 to 50 investors that come in person. And I do not have a rule. I don't let CPAs talk, and I don't let attorneys talk ever, unless they have a great personality.
Why is that?
Because they just because you know something well does not mean you should be teaching other people and speaking on stage and in front of other people about it. Those are different skills, and most people suck at it. Like, they just do. Like, these attorneys and these CPAs are like, Hey, so today we're going to talk about some Ben, thank you so much for this event. I'm so excited. Today we're going to talk about tax strategies as a realtor that you can implement in 2026. And guys, quite frankly, this is something, it's like, stop, just stop. Like, we're done. Like, my events, I like high energy. It's jam packed with value. It's like, 30 to 45 minutes, an hour, and then we network. That's it. We're not sitting here for 4 hours listening to people talk. And there's only one piece that really, I can't, you've gone, I bet you've gone to those events. I've gone to those events. So yeah.
Oh, bro, it's like the moment that happens, the phones come out, or people literally just get up and walk out. It's like the bathroom
Yep.
break time. It's funny. I did actually host an investor event to buy multifamilies in San Francisco because it's very nuanced, and I had a lender join me. Terrible choice. Like, it was just the wrong
Really?
point. It was like I just didn't line up with the right person, and it was beyond painful. And I'm like trying to stand there with a smile on my face, and I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, I think if you're doing that, which I think is a great direction for anybody to do live events, because you build the bond of a relationship, but you also have something
Yep.
to market and talk about. But
Exactly.
really figure out who your partners are going to be, because they're your partners. However they're showing up is how it's going to reflect on you. I'd be willing to bet the hardest part of your day isn't the work. It's the mental load. It's the decision fatigue. It's the shuffling of priorities while you're already playing catch up. You're checking off things from your to-do list just as fast as they're getting added. And I'd also be willing to bet some of those meaningful business relationships you've had in the past have begun to fade. Ace Your Day is a physical deck of 52 strategic cards designed to halt fatigue. Refined by real-world results, this system replaces chaos of a to-do list with a curated set of high-impact actions. It's simple. Set a timer for 15 minutes, draw a card, and make your move. The deck handles the thinking. You drive the business. Building a secure business should not be a guessing game. Let's stop overthinking the day and trust a system that prioritizes connections and relationships. Let the deck handle the strategy. You focus on the results. Click the link in the description to reclaim your day 15 minutes at a time.
They might be genuinely good at the lending business, but like speaking in front of a crowd without using complicated acronyms, keeping it simple. Like, there's so many nuances to it. If you can't deliver on all those things, then yeah, it's going to look poorly on you. It's like, hey, here's this great guy or girl, and then they come up and then they just lose everybody for 15 minutes, and you're like, great. Like, I gotta, So,
yeah. And I'm not trying to throw shade. I mean, it's a different skill set that not everybody has.
It is.
I mean, even doing this podcast, I had like 170 guests. Some people I volley the question and I get the yep as the answer, and I'm like dead in the water because I have nothing to work with after that point. And so it's just it's the name of the game. But I love the point that you just brought up too, which is subtle, is don't use acronyms. We have a rule that we never use an acronym with clients ever, unless we clearly tell them what it specifically means, because you just make people feel dumb, or they're like trying to Google it, or taking 10 extra minutes because they're trying to decipher. It's so frustrating. I had a TC recently do it to me, and it was like 4 acronyms back to back, and I'm in the business every single day. And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, can you just use English, please? Like, what are we doing?
They want to sound smart, They want to impress you.
But I think it kind of parlays back to your 5 pillars. Is like, if you're educating people, then educate them. Like, that's part of building the reciprocity. Is, hey, like, when you're buying multifamilies, you're going to hear about cap rate. This is what cap rate actually means, and this is what it means to you, and this is what blah blah blah, and it like rolls into the next thing. But you just hear terms get slung around, which there's nothing wrong with it. You just have to slow down to make sure your audience knows what it means. And usually what I'll do, because I work with a lot of CEOs who can't, I know they don't know, but you don't want them to feel like they don't know. So I'll just
Exactly.
say, hey, as a quick reminder, this means XYZ, and just move forward. And I don't like dwell on it, and I just move past it. And so then they feel supported, they feel smart, and it
Yeah.
maintains their structure.
That's so funny you do that. That's actually, it makes sense. Like as a CEO, you're supposed to know everything. You make, you're a high income earner, like, and so it's like, yeah, they have a bit of an ego. You don't want to, yeah, yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, you have to know the audience, know the game you're in, and understand how to approach them where they feel there's just needs to be an unspoken set of rules around things. But the C-suite for sure. My secret weapon is as a quick reminder.
As a quick reminder. Yeah, I love that.
Hey, friends, I have a small favor to ask. For me to continue to bring you outstanding guests who share their best kept secrets for growing a successful real estate business, please take a moment and hit that like button so agents like you can find this content. And also hit that subscribe button now so you don't miss out on any new episodes. Now, back to our show.
But yeah, I think I was teaching because I teach other guys too, and I was just like telling them, you need to figure out like what is your thing. Everybody's got different things. I come from a theater and improv background. I'm actually very comfortable on camera. I'm very comfortable speaking in front of people. You can invite me and I'll speak in front of 1,000 people, no problem. Like honestly, it's not a big deal. I still get nervous, but like I can do it, and you wouldn't even tell I'm nervous, right? And so I'm playing off of that. So that's why video content for me is extremely important. And I rely heavily on that because I know that I'm pretty good at articulating. Number one, I'm good at, I think, speaking on camera. But number two, I'm good at taking complicated topics and making a 5-year-old understand them, right? Like that's something that I think I've developed over time. And so, but whatever that thing is, like I had guys, oh, should I do YouTube video? Should I do webinar? Should I run paid meta ads? Should I do a webinar funnel? Should I cold call this? It's just like, it's like, guys, they all work, but you have to stick to something and stop giving up after a week or a month or 6 months. My YouTube channel, I've been posting content now for 3 years. I didn't get leads till like 2 years in, right? And that's what separates me, I think, from other people is I can do the work in the dark, Sean, when nobody's clapping and high-fiving and saying, go Ben. Like I could work in the dark when nobody's looking without the results coming right away. So I got really good at delayed gratification. Like that's what I'm good at. And I think that's the skill that most people right now don't have is they can't wait. They need the money. They need to see the results. It's like, no, you know what? I'll talk to a client and I know he's not going to buy till 2 years from now, right? That's fine. But guess what? I just set up my pipeline 2 years from now. All right, now I got to do the 90-day business though. I still need to, that's my past client follow-up. That's my new lead follow-up, right? That's my 90-day business. So I separate, sorry, I'm going on a tangent here, but I separate my activities.
No, this is great. Great points.
I do 90-day money making activities because, you know, there's nothing really truly like tomorrow money. Like everything takes 30 to 90 days, right? So I do 90-day activities and then I do like what I call 2-year activities. So I'll do, that's the video content. I know that the long-term nurture, all that stuff that I'm going to get paid on down the line. The other stuff like managing referral partners, staying on top of them, doing events, because events actually events are both 90-day money and 2-year money at the same time, because you get some leads that are ready to go and you get some leads that are not ready, but they will be ready in a few years from now, right? And so I like to bounce back and forth between those two things, and I just do them daily. And I like thematic days, right? So Thursdays is my script writing days. I plan all my shorts and I plan all my long form on Thursdays. On Fridays, I shoot, I batch and stack. So all Friday morning, I'm just shooting content, right? And then Wednesdays are my pre-approvals. Tuesday are my updates. And then Mondays are like my follow-up calls on everything. So anyway, so I like to separate it. Nothing new, nothing fancy. But it's just like, dude, you got to do the work. Like, you just got to keep doing it. And so I've gotten really lazy in the last 6 months because, to be honest with you, like, I don't want to brag, but like I was telling my wife, I feel like I can stop and like leads will still come. Like I'm at that point in the business where I'm kind of like blessed to be in that
that's
position.
The dangerous part of the business.
But that's the dangerous. It's dangerous. I know.
That's really the danger zone right there. That's when I used to compete in martial arts. That's when you go to a couple tournaments and you win. So then you pull back on
Oh,
training as hard, and then you go to
yeah.
the next tournament and you just get your ass handed to you, and you're like,
Oh,
"Oh, okay, got it, heard."
yeah. I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'm not that
because
good.
well, not for nothing, but it's working now because of now, right? Meaning there's like the micro and macro are happening, and the micro, your activity, is lining up with the macro, which is the economic season of spring that's happening. But if we go into a winter season, that's when you need to actually double down on your video production, because
Yeah.
it's going to screech to a halt. And kind of like we're agents, all of us rest on our laurels, is when it's easy. It's this season.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's easy. Like, oh, I can throttle back. Oh, I can skip
Right.
this week. Like, it's there's a level of comfort that's happening. So
Yeah, and
I
that's
would
the hard
encourage
part is
you
like pushing
to
through
not.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think to your point, I think the thing that helps me is, which I really like the way you do it, because it's the way that my brain works too, is I have days that are dedicated to do that activity. And it's not to say that I don't do other activities in that day, but the 80% of that day is dedicated to that. Fridays. This is a Friday when I record. I record everything on Fridays. The whole day is podcast related. Everything podcast, whether it's the newsletter, meeting with my
Yeah.
team, sitting down with my assistant, doing actual recordings, it's all hinged around this, which is all one of my marketing legs. It's all for
Yeah.
referral business from agents anywhere in the US. And so I spend all my time doing that. But then, there's seasonality. Sometimes people cancel the last minute. Sometimes I get like my days like extra slammed. So there's like seasonality to it. The other
Yeah.
week I had to cancel everything, and so
Wow.
it comes out in the wash. But stopping is just not an option. But to your point, man, I sat down to do this podcast, and it took me, I'm not exaggerating, a solid 2 years to get traction.
See, I'm not surprised.
Painful.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just, it's all of it is hard. But I think what happens, and it sounds like you got to this point, I stopped viewing it as like a game day where I won or lost. And I started viewing it as data points, if that makes sense. And I
Yeah.
started looking at it more as tests
Yeah.
of like, hey, for the next two weeks, I'm going to test this thing, and then we're going to see how that impacted the needle. Did that change consumption of the episodes? Did it change open rates? Did it change, like, what did it change, if anything? And now we're to
Yeah.
the point where we're like literally on the thumbnail testing colors, and we'll test for like 4 weeks and see what happens, and then test another, change nothing else but the background color. And
Yeah.
I get more focused on that than the overarching numbers or the conversions or any of that, because those are a byproduct of consumption.
Yeah. And I think not getting attached to the results and the treating it as equity, like every video I'm putting, I'm building equity. I'm not going to expect
Yeah.
immediate results. My property's not going to go up 100K in value in a month, and I know that. And so, but I'm building a sales
Right.
asset library that gives me a lot of data on what is working for real estate investors. What do they want? What do they not want? What do they not care about? Because we as
Mhm.
professionals, we're like, this is the problem that upsets me in a lot of these, and I see it a lot in in-person events. When I go to these in-person events, whether I'm hosting or whether I get invited to speak, I ask in the beginning sometimes, I'm like, what do you guys want out of this segment that I'm about to speak on?
Mhm.
And I stop and I listen. Right away. I just ask. Like I taught a video marketing masterclass on some realtor at a real estate team, and I asked them like, what's your biggest problems right now with video content? If you guys have any, or like if you, for those that haven't started, and they'll give me five or six or two. and I write them down and I address them.
Yeah.
And what the funny thing is, though, I know what they're going to say, but I still ask anyway, right? Every real estate investor call, class that we teach, it's kind of like it's like the same thing. You know the pain points by that point, but it's good to know from a marketing perspective. And so yeah, that was my point. It's like, yeah, I would make a YouTube video, like, what's his name, Michael Jordan, the actor, would, after every audition, you know, you're like, this is, I treat myself like, in the beginning, I felt like as an actor I was getting rejected a lot. Like, I'd never done acting professionally, but it was just like, Michael Jordan would take his script and like rip it up and put in the garbage after every audition. He would walk out of every audition assuming no already. He would not even hope for a yes or a callback. He would just immediately garbage. All right, next one. And he would just keep doing it and keep doing it. And that was my YouTube videos, right? Like, I would make a YouTube video and I would expect nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, let it come out. And then, but now I've got to a point where I'm generating, 3 to 5 leads a week, 3 to 10 leads a week booked on my calendar. Yeah. So now I have some data. Okay, I know it's working. Let's reiterate on that. Oh, okay. Oh, we had a couple of weeks where nothing got booked. Is it because it was January? Is it because, the content was bad? Whatever, right? So, but yeah, that's the thing, is just like, oh, I said a lot, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think you make great points. It's like, you just can't, you focus on the work, but you can't focus on the results of the work, right? It's like, Michael Jordan, for example, he's working on his craft, going to the acting classes, applying himself, and then showing up the day of the audition. And it's like, that's not the pass or fail. It's right. It's like, just because you lost the audition doesn't make you a loser. It's just, it means somebody else was a better fit. I actually heard an actor years ago say, and I kind of adopted it for myself, is they view themselves as a puzzle piece, and the audition is looking for a specific piece. And it's not that they're good or bad. It's just the pieces didn't fit. It's like, if you're doing a puzzle with your kid and the pieces don't fit, you don't cry that they don't fit. You don't throw a tantrum. You just go, oh, they don't fit. Let me find the one that does. And there's a little bit of detachment. And so I think for agents where it gets hard, it's their face on the video. And so it's a negative
they feel
reflection
rejected.
of me. That's the hard part, is like realizing that just because your video didn't perform, it doesn't mean you suck. It means your hook sucked. And so on the next one, you have to work on a better hook. And if you don't know what a hook is, you should look that up. And, and learning different ways to put together your structure. Maybe it's your editing, maybe it's the colors that you're using. And you to go back to the early part of this, if you're studying the craft of video marketing, then you have to study how to make really high quality consumable videos. And then within that, are you doing short form? Are you doing long form? Are you doing 10 minutes? Are you doing 1 hour? Like, really niche it down and become a master of that craft. No different than I sell single family homes in this hyper specific area. I know everything there is about it. I know the soils they're on. I know which side of the hill has a higher price per square foot than the other, and yada, yada. It's the same thing, but applied to whatever your marketing vehicle is.
Right. And when you focus on a niche, especially from a marketing perspective, you master faster, right? There's the blue ocean strategy, which I have that book behind me. Like, you get better. Yeah, you get better at things because that's your sole focus. And so I know that I'm like, man, I have an act for this stuff. Like, I think I'm pretty good at video marketing. Like, let me just dive in. So yeah, that's what I did. I got a nice camera. I got a nice background, right? I invested thousands of dollars in building and getting a nice studio, because although that's not important, actually, I would actually argue camera presence and like good hooks and packaging is more important than a studio. That should come after you've mastered everything else and like you feel like you've got a grasp on it. But anyway, we like to focus there, like, Ben, what camera should I use? It's like, dude, your iPhone is good enough. Like, you don't need to buy a $2,000 camera. But anyway, the point that I'm making is that,
listen, man,
go ahead.
There's been movies made on iPhones.
Crazy.
which is crazy to think about. Like a movie has been made on an iPhone. Multiple movies have been made on iPhones. So the quality is there. It's not the quality. But
Yeah.
if you ever study beginners, the beginner, let's say you want to get into film photography, what's the first thing they do? What camera should I buy?
Yeah.
Right? They need the rig. And so, oh, I need to start filming. It's like, dude, you have everything you need is the phone. Like, you want to start making video content, you have it. You're done.
Yeah. Right.
Like you just
exactly.
prop it up on
You need to
something and
get
start
good.
recording.
Exactly.
But I would
Or you need to
argue,
understand shots and cuts and angles and B-roll and like how to position and how to whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and with AI, that's your cheat code. You can literally, and I've done this before, like, again, I want to make a 1 minute video. I want to make it for YouTube. What's the formula? And it'll literally tell you what the formula is. Like, it's super easy. But I would say the one thing, if you are going to invest in something, it's the audio quality. People will
Yes.
click off of something that has poor video quality, like far fewer than if it has poor audio quality. If they can't hear it or can't understand it and it's all garbled and it's not in context of the video, they're done.
Yeah.
But like those security type videos, we'll watch all day long if the audio is good and it's crisp. So that's the one thing I would definitely invest in, a good audio
Yes.
setup, and then everything else, your phone is totally fine.
Yeah. Yep. And technology is getting better and better. There's so much out
But
there.
you got to test.
Yeah. You got to test. Yeah.
There's so much out there, and you can AI edit your videos now. You can clean them up. There's so many ways to get to bypass all of this stuff. But I think, and I don't know, I would love to hear your opinion on this. I think where people get hung up is they just don't know what to do for marketing, so then they do nothing. But then I would say simultaneously, they don't want to be on video, but then they're trying to encourage themselves to be on video, and so then they make no videos.
Oh, 100%. I think it's kind of like the analysis paralysis thing where you hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, you should do video, you should do video." And I'm like, honestly, no. I actually don't think everybody should do video because most of you guys suck on video.
Agreed.
You know, if you're going to do video, then get good at doing video, understanding facial expressions, understanding tone inflection, getting excited, dropping, right? Managing pacing of how I say my sentences, right? Like all this stuff that actually, in all the courses I've paid for and the classes I've done, nobody talks about inflection of the tone, right? Or how to present yourself. Anyway, but the thing is that like, I think that it has never been an easier time to do video. I think it's a terrific way to generate business. But if that's going to be your thing, then you need to study it and understand the game that you're playing. If you're going to be cold calling FISBOs, understand how to cold call at a very high level. I came from cold calling, so that's also why I learned about tonality. Tonality is very important. It's not really what to say. It's actually a lot of how. How do you say the words that come out of your mouth, right? Slowing down, talking a little bit faster, understanding when you can talk fast, whatever, right? So like whatever the thing is, like pick the thing and then run with it. You might say, well, Ben, I don't know what the thing is. So here's what I did. I built an AI prompt that interviewed myself, and I interviewed myself for an hour and a half. I was in Cancun. I'll never forget. I woke up early. My wife was sleeping. I woke up early. I go to the balcony. And I literally talked with AI. ChatGPT has a voice like thing that you can talk to. And I literally talked to it for an hour and a half. And I had it interview me for an hour and a half to figure out what am I good at and what am I not good at. And then it gave me a full results page of like, hey, in this industry, specifically for me, because I'm in mortgage, here's some of the top ways you can generate leads. Boom, 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 right? And so that's what I did. And I can give you the prompt, Sean, after this. It's an AI prompt. You plug in, you say, hey, you're an expert interviewer, you're an expert real estate marketer, you know 100 plus ways to generate leads. I want you to find me what should be my niche. That was what it did, is it figured out what's the best niche to focus on for me, and then also what's the best marketing channel. So whatever that marketing channel is for you, who cares? Like you got to figure that out, but like just stick with it. You know, I keep saying that over and over again, but yeah.
Dude, that should be your free giveaway, is that prompt. I think that would be incredible for agents. because
Yeah.
I think most of us don't have those five pillars, and then within that, there's that. Again, I've heard it so many times where people are like, "Oh, I want to make video, or I want to focus on social. I just don't know which platform. I don't know how to start. I'm not comfortable on video, or whatever it may be." But there's so many different ways to approach that that it doesn't have to be the thing that you don't enjoy, because
Yeah.
as I shared earlier, is I allocate all of Friday. In the beginning, it was probably 2 full days a week I was allocating to developing the podcast, but I've since been able to hire people and scale my time back, so it's 1 full day. But if I don't enjoy sitting down with people like you,
Yeah.
this would suck. Like, this would be
Yeah.
such a rough road to go down, because it's not, as I shared, it took me 2 years to get traction. And
Yeah.
that's brutal if it's simultaneously something I just can't wake up early and get excited about.
Yeah. Yep. And that's the other part and piece of it too that I think is extremely important. There's this guy that I follow. He coaches agents now like part time from like Taiwan or something. Like he sold his real estate business in Cali and then moved. And he teaches this, and I love this. He teaches that you should prospect in a way that gets you that you actually like to do or that's exciting for you, right? I used to
Yeah.
I used to be okay with cold calling. Like, yeah, obviously I didn't love it, right? But I was like, yeah, it's fine. You get nervous, but now I like if I were to do it now, I would hate it. Like I would just I hate it because I hate being a telemarketer, right? I want to bring
Yeah.
value to people. I want to be valuable to people, and I feel like I was just bothering people all day, and I didn't like that. And I know a lot of
Yeah.
people feel like that too. But that's the thing is like you said, Sean. I still think there's an element of listen in the beginning. You just got to do what works. Like if I was like talking to my younger self, I would say, hey, you have to suck it up and do the stuff that sucks. Like you just have to. Now you can still do the other things that you like to do, but they may not generate business right away. But still, you can
Yeah.
find things like if I were to start over, I would do a lot more in-person events. I wish I did more of that because that immediately
Yeah.
elevates you and gives you opportunities and a
Mhm.
platform, right? And I love that. It was a lot of work, but I like it
Mhm.
and I'm good at it. I like to
Yeah.
think I'm good at it because I've been to a lot of events and I can't stand the way people do events. Anyway, so that's why like yeah, pick the thing that you're good at. And like Dan Martell and Buy Back Your Time also have that book talks about this where it's like do the things that give you energy and make you money,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Do the
Yes.
things that don't drain you. Like cold calling drains me. I'll cold call for 2 hours. I'm beat, man. I'm like, dang. But I
Yeah.
can go speak at an event and network with people for 8 hours and I can keep going. I can keep going. Right. And so, yeah, got to figure that out for
It's
that person.
funny. You and I are wired very similar. Like, in the beginning, I tried a lot of things. Like, I did door knocking. I did it for like 3 months straight. And
Yeah.
I always felt like you did. I was like, oh, I'm bothering people. Like, it wasn't, I got leads, but I didn't, I always felt drained. Like, I remember
Yeah.
like at the end of each day, I would like take my shoes off, put my feet up on the couch, and I would just be like, my brain would be mush. And then I did cold calling for a while. Same thing. I got leads. I got some great opportunities, but I just didn't, it didn't do it for me. And so
Yeah.
I think there is a period in the beginning when you should just explore,
Yeah.
because
I agree.
you do need to push yourself to a point, but I also think simultaneously the thing itself should pull you a bit,
Yeah.
like an
Yeah.
event. Like, you're pulled to do it, and so doing the pushing part doesn't hurt so bad,
Yeah.
right? There's like a
Yeah.
simultaneous like movement for you. And same with
And you
me.
don't dread going to work the next day. Like I would hate Sunday nights. I would be like, I
Yeah,
don't want to go tomorrow. I'm just gonna go to work and get yelled at and rejected for in the morning tomorrow. Like I don't want to go to work.
yeah,
Like that was my life. So yeah.
yeah. Dude, it's funny now that I'm thinking about it. I closed yesterday a property for 2.5 million, and those
Nice.
clients bought a property. I met them probably 8 years ago. They bought a property about 7 years ago. I had an event about 6 years ago. And so I had my first deal with them 7-ish years ago. one of their parents passed. I referred them to another agent. They sent me, I think, 2 or 3 friends along the way. So I got referrals out of it. And then I just helped them again. And then in a couple months, we're going to be selling their prior property. And so all of that, it's not that it was hinged on me initially meeting them at an open house, but all of that was built on an event, which just gave me more time in front of them, which really solidifies the relationship. And the funny thing was, I brought all of that up because as I gave them the keys the other day, we were sitting in the living room looking at the amazing view, and they were like, "Oh my God, when are you having another event?" And so it's the relation. It's like for me, with the clients, it's how do I build more of those relationship opportunities? That's the thing that gives me juice. And then it's,
and what kind of event was it?
It's so good for my business.
Yeah.
So this is actually a really funny story. So one of my clients is a musician, and
Nice.
it was actually, I think, the second or third property I sold. He's a drummer. And so I sold him a property, and then fast forward a little bit, he was in a band and the singer wanted to buy our property. So he referred them to me. We were helping them. And I said, "Hey, I know you guys play all the time. I'm thinking about hosting an event." And they're like, "Oh, we're actually trying to change venues. So we're doing a Kickstarter." And it was like $3,000 or something. They're like, "For $3,000, we'll give you the venue, food, and we'll perform for a couple hours." And I was like,
wow.
Done. And so I gave him $3,000, wound up booking that, inviting a bunch of people to it. I had a photographer, I had a bartender, obviously a bunch of guests, a lender came, had a cool event, hung out with everybody. Fast forward, like those clients, for example, were there, but I probably got, I would say within a month, I had about 5 or 6 referrals from people who came. The photographer bought a property with me in within like a couple, like within a month or two. And then I had, I would say 3 or 4 transactions by the end of that year from that one event. But
crazy.
People will still talk about that event. It was the biggest I did, and it was just like it timed out well where like this whole, it was just happening, the price was right. Like I haven't been able to recreate it, but people still talk about that event. And so I'm still trying to replicate it. I've done other smaller ones, but nothing quite like that just yet.
Yeah, we remember high emotional highs, and it's like if you can create that, like that's what's going to stick out and people will remember. And so if you make it enjoyable, and sometimes like too, we think like we have to make our, like I do a lot of workshops and trainings, but I did 2 improv events. So now I host improv events for realtors where we teach agents how to use improv to think on their feet. So it's like a fun, laughing way to like teach. But it's also because everything we think is like has to be about education and building value, and I got to teach all these people how to buy a house or how to invest. And it's like, honestly, like sometimes it's like we don't have to do all that. Like we're human beings. Like they just put on a fun event, show up, be like, yeah, I'm the realtor, right? And then that's it, and you get business. Like it's sometimes I'm like we overcomplicate it. Like we have to do this like whole, let me teach you the 3-step framework on how to buy your first multifamily. It's just like, you know what? Just get a band and have some drinks, and people will be fine.
Dude, amen. And I think people confuse all of these terms of like, oh, it's got to be fun, it's got to be educational, it's got to provide value, and it's like it's a lot of words that people throw around, but they're so cliche. And I think to your point, especially if you're hosting open houses or you're working with people, it's all spontaneous. And so I have never done an improv class, and I've always wanted to. And if you were in town and you were like, hey man, I'm hosting it for agents, I would 100% sign up for it, because even doing this podcast, it's like you have to be nimble, because I don't know where this conversation is going to go or what's going to happen next. And so I think it's a valuable skill. But more importantly, to your point, it's a positive experience, and they're attaching that to you, the host. And so
Right.
now they're like, oh, Ben's a super nice guy. He's like really cool. I got to like laugh with him. He's like, oh, my clients are they're thinking about buying a property and they need to get pre-approved. Oh, let me just connect them with Ben. Ben's like, he's just very approachable. Like, I think they'll really work well with him. And it's all
Yeah.
teed up. And I think that's the thing we lose sight of is
Yeah.
the value doesn't have to be so complex. Like, it
Right.
could just be a feel good, like an improv
Yep.
class.
Yep.
There's been lenders who've done self-defense classes. Like that's a
There you
great
go.
value add too. And so I think the other thing is, and I love that you do that, is you can marry your past life to your current life. Like if you
Yeah.
have improv experience, hell yeah, I'd be teaching that.
In my video marketing masterclass, I taught there's 5 ways to provide tangible value, and one of them was it was reduce stress and increase joy. So we think value is like teaching people how to do things, which is valuable, sure. Education, okay. How to make more money, how to save money, yeah, that's great. But like, you understand, like the entertainment business is really profitable for a reason, right? Like people pay money to go see a movie. People pay money to go see a stand-up comic. Why?
Yeah.
Because entertainment, laughing, is valuable to people. They want to have a good time. Like
Yeah.
that, people will spend money for that experience. And we forget that. And I think
Yes.
we can create that as lenders, as realtors. Like realtors can create that all the time.
Yes.
You know, I had an idea. If I was an agent right now and I did open houses, I would hire a keyboardist, or I would myself, because I play piano. I play quite a few instruments. So I would play piano in my open house,
What do you
like
not
a
do?
nice
That's
jazzy
pretty amazing.
blues. Like, you know, I would literally do that in the open house. As people walk in, be like, hi, I'm the realtor. Like, whatever. Like, have something you say, and then you're just playing. It'd be such a funny icebreaker
Yeah.
and like weird thing. Like, yeah, they're gonna remember you. Are you kidding me? I don't know. Stuff like that. You know, that I would do.
And I think it's to your point, that's thinking outside of the box. It's like
Yeah.
there's my friend Tim who's out of Texas. He's the violin agent, and he's in all of his videos. He's a professional violinist, so he's always playing as he's doing property tours of houses. He's playing the violin,
That's
and he'll usually put a
hilarious.
song that's appropriate to the house, and it's a brand, it's a niche, and I think, it's interesting you brought the word up, entertainment, and I think it's more broad than that. And I feel like that's where we think of it needs to be entertaining. So we think of like, oh, it needs to be a joke. And it's like that's not necessarily
Yeah.
what entertaining. If you look at entertaining as a more broad, macro, wide lens, right? A video that's edited really well is entertaining for your eyes. Or if you're listening to a really good song with a really good hook, that's entertaining for your ears. And so I think there's different entertaining. And entertaining really means retention. It's
Yep.
holding you to that thing, right? Entertaining copy, like the art of good copy, is to get you to read the next sentence.
Right.
And so having the right hooks, having the right pauses, and I think that's all comprised in entertaining. And I think thus value is hinged on the package, which is the entertainment. And so to kind of go back to the improv, agents hanging out to learn a skill, that's the value. But then how is it packaged? Like, is it
Hmm.
packaged in a fun and approachable way where they build this little mini sub community within the community? Like, that's your slam dunk. And so I think,
Yeah.
I think as we break down these things, and you even said too, it's funny, like we pay to go to a movie. We also pay to sit on Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah.
We pay with our
Right.
time.
Yeah.
And if it's entertaining, we don't swipe, we stay. And again, there's different levels of entertaining. There's like shock and surprise, and there's the hero's journey, and there's all these like different ways.
Yeah.
But to go back to your earlier point is study it. Like try to figure out if that's the thing
Yeah.
you're going to be doing, just become the best at it. And
Exactly.
and don't worry about the results, but just keep playing with it.
Right.
There's a friend of mine, Caitlin Hanning, who was on this podcast. But if you actually scroll to her early Instagram, it's like 10 views, 20 views, like really bad. And then all of a sudden, as you're scrolling through, you find she has this really dry, dark sense of humor. And she talks about properties, but through the lens of the buyer in like this very like cynical, sarcastic
That's
way.
hilarious.
Her views jumped to like the hundreds of thousands the moment she tapped into that. And
Yeah.
in talking to her on the podcast, she's like, "Oh, I just tried different things." And I think that's
Yeah.
the spirit of it. It's like if you like making video, just go try shit,
Yeah.
see what works,
And the
make more
people
of
will
that
tell you
thing.
what they want. You'll see. You'll
Yes.
literally see like what does the market want? What are the content gaps, right? Is a term that I use a lot. Is like
Yes.
where is there a gap in the market that people want? And that could be something funny, like with this lady, or it could be something serious, whatever. Like you'll see. Like it will tell you. But then the problem is you do that, and then after a year or two, sometimes that dies, right? And then now you got to readjust again because sometimes stuff like that doesn't always work
Yeah.
forever. And so it's like you have to constantly change and evolve. So, yeah.
Well, it's funny. It's like real estate. It's like, oh, I did a mailer. It works really well. Everybody in the
Right.
office does a mailer. Mailers stop working.
Exactly.
And then it's not that mailers don't work. It's just the market it's adjusted. And so now you have
Yeah.
to, like, if you do the same thing you did 10 years ago, or
Yeah.
to your point, when you got into real estate or into lending, and then they're like, oh, this is the way it's always been done. And you're like, yeah, but it stopped working 10 years ago. Why?
Right.
Why are we still doing
Right.
it?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm surprised that we were wired so similarly too. I didn't expect that.
I mean, and it sounds like you're also a voracious reader as well. Just can't
Yeah.
not keep consuming information.
Yeah. No, I have to. But I have to also apply. That's the big thing too, is when I read a book, I'm like, okay, what is actually something I'm going to apply? Because we're in a consumption age. We just consume, but like we don't, okay, like implement what we're learning and execute what we're learning. Yeah.
Yeah. I recently had another podcast and my observation is we're drowning in information and dying with execution. Like we're just not, like the reality is you can figure out how to make a viral video. That's the reality. I think you can figure it out. AI has made it incredibly easy, but doing the work to create it and to build it, like no one's doing it.
Yeah.
Or whatever it may be. Like there's
Or they do it and
at
they
this
stop.
point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to think about if you just take AI and put that aside as if it doesn't exist. But the technology of your phone, you have more information at your access at any point than President Clinton did when he was in office. Like you have far more access than he ever had, which is crazy to think about. And now if you add in AI, you now have more advisors at the ready than anybody at any point ever did in history. And if you can't figure out the solution or the strategy, it's kind of wild.
Yep. Crazy.
That's my take. I mean, you were
and I
sitting
agree.
in Cancun having an evaluation of your personality, of where you should be investing your time. That is wild to have that. Like, it's like we're just culturally so blessed to have, like, for you to be able to do that. Like, that's, I think about if you, like, in the 80s, like pre-phone, what would you have had to have done to be able to have that sort of evaluation? Like first, for starters, there's no way you would have a list of 100 things to acquire a list of 100 things that successful agents or lenders were doing. To come up with that list would take you how long? How many phone calls would you have had to make? Or how much research at the library would you have had to have done to come up with that list for starters? And then how many personality evaluations would you have then had to have done to figure out you? And then how would you have crossed the gap to like marry the two? Like it's, and you did it in an hour. Like
Yeah. Crazy.
it's wild, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But like you said,
It's just
we're
crazy.
getting, I think we're getting poor in execution. So that's also the flip side. Like for real estate investing, which is kind of interesting. Like now there's more content than ever to the average consumer on how to buy real estate, how to invest in it. Yes, of course, there are always courses and tapes that you can listen to and tracks and CDs, whatever. But nowadays it's like, yeah, it's easier than ever because of access to information, but people don't actually do it as much. Like people don't take that information and like run with it and like execute on it. And so yeah, that's your unique advantage. That's what you have to do to stay ahead. So yeah, I'm with you 100%, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, and I think simultaneously that's where, to go back to relationships and building the right content, of being a person who's presenting themselves online and doing it in a way where you're either demystifying the information, because there's so much information out there that a lot of it's BS and you can't legally do a lot of this stuff. And so building relationships and bonding with people, even though it's a one-sided relationship, is incredibly important. And ultimately they're learning. Like people have learned a lot about me just from the podcast, even though I've never spent time with them one-on-one. And so if they have a client who's thinking about making a move to San Francisco, they already have so much context of me if I will be a good fit for their clients. And so I think that's really where there's a massive opportunity there.
And that's why I'm a fan of long form, because long form builds trust.
100%. Short form will get you subscribers. Long form will get you conversions. And the conversion is it's the trust, it's the relationship.
Yeah. I think the shorts point to the long. I think if you just have shorts, but you don't have the long form, I think you're kind of missing out. You could, shorts are a great way to quickly grab attention and point people. Like that's what I do with our video model is we'll make shorts, but we want people to go to the YouTube. Like that's actually what I push. I push every referrals, past clients, investors that have come into my ecosystem but haven't bought yet or haven't refinanced yet. They're always getting my videos. I want them to it's like passive prospecting, right? You're passively prospecting to the people, and YouTube does a great job of recommending those videos if they're staying on your videos long enough. So yeah, I think again, the barrier of entry thing, which you and I talked about before we press record, like the barrier of entry for shorts is really low because it's 60-second clips. You can make them like that. They're super easy to make. The long form content is harder to make, more expensive to make. There's more editing. There's more things you have to do. You have to retain someone's attention for longer, right? But that's where the money is. That's where the conversion is. That's where the leads, for me, that's where the leads come from, right? And so, I think that's why with video marketing, it's like if you pick a niche, pick the platform strategy. You have a primary platform, a secondary platform. For me, primary is YouTube, secondary is LinkedIn, right? So those are the two platforms. I study YouTube like for fun. I will at night before I go to bed, sometimes Saturday mornings, like I'm studying like why the heck did this video do well? Or why did this video bomb and not do well?
Yeah.
And then I'm watching other channels that are adjacent to my niche, right? And so I'm following, this is what I do. Like I just research all the time. I'm always watching and seeing like, okay, what's working? And then I don't copy directly. I still kind of make it my own because some people just blatantly copy. Like some people blatantly copy me. And I'm like, dude, at least try to make it a little bit different, right? Like don't, like you just swapped your face out on the thumbnail. Like you copied my thumbnail, but you just swapped out the face. It's like, really? Come on. Anyway, so yeah, I think like picking the niche, picking the platform, and then what, when I say niche, is it luxury buyers? Is it people that are stepping down, that are retirees, empty nesters? Is it firefighters, police officers? Is it blue collar? Like what is the audience you're speaking to? I think that really helps with your content because then they're like, oh man, Sean's really talking to me.
Yes.
So that's something that I want to iterate on too before we wrap up. But yeah, really important.
Clearly, you're the marketing very well, and I'm 100%. I think there should be a congruency with how you're speaking and to who your audience is, because if there's a mismatch, that falls apart with the trust component. And so I think
Yeah.
the scary part too for people just getting into this is acknowledging that you should be turning on a specific group, but you should be then turning off everybody else. Like you're not speaking to them. And so then just focusing on the right people, that's a hard thing to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have a
'Cause some
course
agents.
that you've put out on this.
Oh, well, no, actually, I don't. Maybe I should make one, but yeah, I've heard, some people are
Dude, you
like,
should
I,
totally make a course. Jesus.
everybody's got a course already. I'm like, oh, do I wanna start another
know.
business? Again, it's the one thing, right? Like I actually started a coaching program
know,
to
I
help
know.
other loan officers, and I ended it. I actually started it, and now I'm in the process of shutting it down. We already got like 6, 7 students in there, and I'm like, no, this is distracting from my main bread and butter. It's like I can't.
Ben, I'm going to
But
call
maybe a
you from
course
here
would
on
be
out.
better.
I'm like, hey, man, I got this brilliant idea. And then you're going to be like, no, don't do it. And I'm like, all right, cool.
2 weeks ago, another guy called me. He's like, hey, I'm really thinking about doing this. And I'm like, why? You're generating 6 figures of income of what you're already doing that's working. Why not double down? He's like, oh, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, so then, yeah, why start this whole new marketing project, this marketing funnel idea when like what you're doing now is already working? He's like, well, I want to get to the next level. I'm like, okay, so then do what you're doing better. Don't start a new thing, right?
Yeah, do more. I think what it
Just do
is this is what it is for me, is it's a mix of the entrepreneurialism with ADHD.
Yeah.
It's like, I think the starting something new is it's the, do you know that like that fear and panic?
Yeah.
It's like, if it's working really well, you don't have that fear and panic. And so then you're looking for fear and panic. Cause like, that's for me, that's what drives me. And I'm like, oh, I don't know this. This is scary. And so now I have to like scramble to figure it out and build it. And so I think that's why I keep taking on new projects, because I seek that drug.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The novelty of it. Yeah.
It is the novelty. And that's where I think good for you for reminding yourself to just, like, if it doesn't fit into these 5 things, then I'm putting blinders on.
Yeah. Because all the time I hear, and like I have an idea list that I keep on my phone of like marketing ideas. And unless I keep coming back to it, I don't do it. Right. So it's literally a long list, but if it's burning in my brain and I keep, see, right, there you go.
I'm laughing because I literally have I have a notebook of just ideas.
So yeah, like unless I keep coming back to that marketing idea, Sean, I don't do it, right? Yeah. Like sometimes I'll brain dump and I'll forget, and that tells me, okay, maybe it wasn't a good idea. But then also sometimes too, we think it's a good idea, we execute, and it flops, right? So that's also the other part too, is like you have to test and see if it works. And so I'm not at a point where I might start a weekly event series. I'm in the process of probably doing that. We'll see. I don't know if I want to do it. We're going to do probably like a listing pitch thing where I'm going to have agents in my market come every week and pitch their listings to other agents, to other like 30, 40 agents. And we'll just come every week, have lunch from 11 to 12, and then network. So like I'm thinking about adding that to my list, and then we'll see. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just like there's never a shortage on ideas. It's like the question is, will they work? And then are you going to do them consistently? Are you going to study and do them well? Because a lot of people do a lot of things poorly, right? So I'll host a class. Like one time I taught a bunch of realtors, I'm like, hey, you guys have to hop on YouTube. I love YouTube. I think YouTube is the greatest thing ever right now. And then some agents will do it. They'll do a couple crappy videos and say, oh, this takes too much time. This sucks. And I'm like, yeah, your competition's thinking the same thing. Like that's your moat around the castle. Your moat around the castle is all the videos you've created, all the hours you've spent, all the guides you've created, everything like all the marketing activities you've done is your moat. And that's what separates you from the competition. Right. So yeah.
That's true. That's 100% true. And simultaneously, in having 170 podcast episodes, the nuances of the things that you learn, and now I have 170 episodes of moat around me. So if somebody else wants to create, I have such a unfair advantage at this point because I understand so many different layers of this and how to
Correct.
create it and
Exactly.
the management. And so it's all transferable skills. Like once you're understanding online marketing, you understand it and how it parlays into something else. And so
Yeah.
it's beneficial.
That's what YouTube taught me, Sean. YouTube taught me about packaging, about thumbnails, and because if people don't click, then there's no point. The whole thing you just created was a waste of time. And so there would be events where I come to, and the event title, so the title of the in-person event would be Multifamily Workshop 101. Now you tell me which title is better, Multifamily 101 or How to Buy Real Estate So You Never Have to Work a Job Again. Which title is better?
Number 2.
Right? So like there's a lot less people, like it's kind of dumb, but it's just the way humans are. Like you have to package things in such a way that like sounds that people would want to go to or people would want to click on. So you're exactly right. To your point, because of my marketing things that I've learned and I've studied lead magnets and nurtures and sequences and like just so many, oh my gosh, like so like outside my industry, that's what I've done. I go to other industries, agencies, e-commerce, brick and mortar, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? What's your marketing sequences? How are you guys getting business? Oh, okay, cool. You're doing this. You're doing a lead mag. You're doing whatever, right? So I would learn all those things and apply it here. I'll take the things that I think would work. But the point I'm making is that marketing has taught me how to package things in such a way to get people to go or to get people to be interested in it. Because it could be a great video or a great event. But if people don't want to go, like you're wasting your time.
Same page. And you have no idea on subject line and titles how much I've done testing. It's crazy. Yeah. And it's funny. Like you reminded me, we did one where it was like first time home buying, crickets. We did one called demystifying home buying, blew up. Everybody clicked on it. And like for some reason, the word demystifying people resonate
which
with
now I can't stand. But it's such an overused AI word now. I hate demystifying. I
can't stand
it everywhere.
So it's funny.
You know, so, yeah.
That was probably 6 or 7 years ago. And to your point, it's now saturated and doesn't like you can't rely on it anymore. It doesn't work. And so that goes back to you have to test stuff, A/B test, and yeah, it's bizarre. But the nice thing with YouTube is you can go back and redo thumbnails, you can redo titles, and figure out the right package. And it's like, how do you put the right wrapping paper around this thing to stand out amongst all the other wrapping paper? And it's really fascinating, something just like it's crickets and you change just the thumbnail, you change out the colors, and all of a sudden it starts to get clicks again. And you're like, whoa, it's wild.
Crazy.
But
crazy.
That's the nature
I've
of the beast.
re-uploaded YouTube videos and just changed the title and thumbnails. Like the same MP4 file I've uploaded, I've literally just changed the title and thumbnail. And like it's still sometimes it does okay. It's not like it's wild to me too. Like Dave Ramsey for the last 40 years has been talking about the same two things in the last 40 years. It's save money and spend less than you earn. But like he is where he is today. And there's multiple reasons why, but it's just like, you can't like, I think, man, I'm like, mortgage is so boring. Like, how am I gonna, and I'm like, why am I trying to, I'm trying to always come up with like super sexy angles and like all these crazy ideas. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I just need to explain certain loan programs 10 times in 10 different ways. And like, that's it. Like nobody's going to say, oh, Sean, you already made this video 3 weeks ago or 10 months ago. Like I remember, it's like, no, you don't even remember. When's the last time you talked to your parents, your mom, right? Or you thought about your mom, let alone, someone's video library. Anyway. So
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and it's all about just finding the right person at the right time. Dude, this was really fun. And I appreciate your time and with you sharing this. What is your YouTube channel so people can come find you?
Yeah. So if you guys, I know primarily realtors are listening to this. So guys, like genuinely speaking, for the agents in here, the loan programs I talk about, and I'm not just saying this just to like, I wholeheartedly believe this. You will make more money if you know about what I'm talking about. You don't have to know everything, but like enough. The loan programs in the YouTube channel, and I'll give it to you in a second, Sean. They have created multiple listings and multiple buy side deals for my agents because investors were able to take equity out of properties, whereas otherwise they wouldn't have been able to do. And when you give somebody money, especially a real estate investor, what are they going to do with it? They're going to go buy more real estate, right? And so exactly. And like that's where you want to be as the agent. And so I'm very creative on the lending side. We think very outside the box. As you can see, I think outside the box in terms of marketing. I think outside the box in terms of lending. So my channel is just, you can type in my name, Ben Stef, funding freedom. So if you search up funding freedom on YouTube, it'll probably come up. And so it's just a bunch of different programs where we talk about DSCR, HELOCs, multifamily loans, because I do a lot of multifamily in my area. So yeah, if you guys want to learn more about that, I don't have any like B2B facing content, Sean. Like I don't make content about how to, generate leads on video or using marketing, whatever. But yeah, that's my channel for my B2C content.
When you're done with this category and you decide to branch off and do another business,
oh yeah, probably
you can come back on
Honestly,
and relaunch that.
Probably will.
Yeah, dude, your marketing is pretty damn savvy and impressive.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So yeah, if you have any marketing ideas, we'll vet them together. You can run it by me.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that. And that's a wrap.